Hey, welcome everyone to Movement Yoga Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. We have a bonus session. We did yoga with Josephine the other night, or the other day rather. And today we have Kathy, my wife. Josephine's my daughter. Awesome. Glad to have you here with us. If you want to work on anything specifically, of course, feel free to put that in the comment section. And otherwise, we'll get going, and I'll try to check in every so often just to make sure that we're addressing whatever you all would like to address in terms of our yoga. Kathy, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Come on up. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
And anything you'd like to work on today?
Yeah, I'm noticing that I'm becoming a creature.
A creature.
Sea creature.
Well, shoulder blades back and down, but in the right measure. You don't want to feel like you've forgotten to take the coat hanger out of your shirt.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, not right. You don't want to do that, but I'm just so much is.
Yeah.
My life is.
Yeah.
Just sort of work lives.
Right. But I mean, this shape is a very comforting, protective shape.
No, it's true. So part of that.
This
safety.
shape is a very unalert, high stress state. So you want to be somewhere between the two. Feel free to do this along with me. We'll just get started in a sec, but it's always just a nice reminder. Ears over shoulders.
All right.
Ears, shoulders over hips. Ears, shoulders, hips over heels.
So you're remembering.
And you get a little
head, shoulders,
knees
knees,
and
and
toes.
toes. Knees.
Yeah, but without the knees and toes
But
part.
actually, that's even better though, because then it's kind of like when you do it. Actually, the knees and toes part is the what's it called?
Utkatasana, the
Yes.
squat. All right, well, let's do that then. Heads, shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes. Head,
Eyes and ears and
mouth
and nose.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes.
I have a feeling I might be starting a story time in my future, so thank you for helping me get my reps back.
All right. Well, let's find our feet. Let's bring hands on hips and just march it side to side. Finding your feet, finding your balance side to side. Feel free to give it a little kick, keeping it loose. You're now grounded through both feet as we just rock it from side to side. And then finding your center. Let's take it front to back as we lift heel, lift toe, back and forth. You might even lift up onto those toes as we start to warm up our Achilles tendon. You might even lift up onto the heel as you challenge your balance and stretch out that Achilles tendon. And then staying grounded through heels, grounded through toes as we rock it front to back. And then finding your center. Feeling free to keep the feet wide or challenging your balance as you narrow your stance, and that can change throughout the practice. Relax shoulders tall to the crown of the head. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, otherwise just softening your eyes. And watching as your breath flows in. And watching as your breath flows out. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for your low back as we move through these shapes and sequences, almost like putting a weight belt on from the inside. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards the go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, the sound of which often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. Taking the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, hands by your side, lifting the chin tall through the crown. Working arms and shoulders, keeping it simple. Inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling arms back down. 2 more times like this, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. 1 more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Now adding a forward fold, half sun sal. Inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, we can fold. Hands catching back to the shins as we round the spine and traction ourselves deeper. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. We got 1 more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to find length. Keeping that length as we fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun Sal A, I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. And the front of your mat's going to be somewhere around that brick there. Yeah, and you're right on camera. Perfect. Yeah, awesome. No, I think you're good.
It feels too far front for me.
No, I think, yeah, well, no, but yeah, you do want to be on the front of the mat. So you have lots of room for your push-up. But I won't cue vinyasa this first one. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Now arching the spine as you ground on down and make your way back to down dog. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other, grounding down through the opposite heel. Maybe adding a little sway of the shoulders, relaxing your neck, just checking it out. How does your body feel this morning? What feels tight? What feels right? What feels somewhere in between? From this place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards relative stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Despite the lack of overt movement, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And by focusing on your breath as it flows in and out, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought, and breathing into that space. Tail end of a breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift your tailbone a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Hands can cap the knees. Exhaling, catching the back of the shins as you traction yourself deeper. Inhaling, knees a little bit soft, arms out to the side and then overhead, finding your flat back. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one, much like the first, this time I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine, keeping elbows soft as you work yourself through Chaturanga Yoga push-up. Elbows yoga style, yeah, that's right, elbows right close in. Inhaling into your back bend, either your cobra with your hips down, or lifting the hips up for your up dog. And then pushing back, finding down dog. Another option might be all fours. Maybe you sneak in a child's pose. Always balancing your effort with your ease. Welcome, Susan. Welcome, Catherine. Welcome, Anthony. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift your tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salé, and let's throw some donkey kicks into the mix. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back, and then arching the spine as you cycle through vinyasa, keeping your elbows soft as you find your push-up. Inhaling into your back bend, take your time. And then back to down dog as you will. So generating a little more heat, I'm gonna invite you to find a short dog as you walk the feet in. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, lifting right leg high. And then letting the momentum of that top leg lift the bottom foot up as you find a donkey kick. Say 1 or 2 or 3. And then finding your second side, left leg high, and then letting that top leg do the work. That's it. Awesome. And then back to your down dog. Maybe you sneak in a child's pose. Wherever you choose to work, keeping Samarviti, same breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. And when you're ready to move on, let me know by finding your down dog. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Oops. Next time. And then exhaling, standing tall. Sun Salutation B, the other traditional warm-up. We'll start with a chair. We'll do it flow style. Inhaling, taking your chair lower. On the inhale, rising on up, engaging the glutes to support a back bend at the top, the City Lights posture, and then a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you look up, and then folding again as you ground down, and making your way back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. From down dog when you're ready. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a 3-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High in the left toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. Wait for it. Now looking between the hands, pitching that leg even higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling, warrior 1. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf, and then wait for it, looking between the hands, pitching that left leg even higher, and then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling, and then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and then back to down dog, as you will. You might stretch straight back. Maybe you cycle through vinyasa. Maybe you make another choice instead. Always finding a choice that works for you, your breath, your body, your energy level. Working that perfect place between your effort and your ease. I'm going to adjust the camera just a tad. Beautiful. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low, finding that chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, finding your back bend. On the exhale, neutral spine as you stand tall. Cool. All right, so let's add a dragon dog to the mix. I'm just trying to get the perfect angle on you, Kathy. Finding your chair, knees over toes, hands over head, flat back. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, finding that back bend, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you look up. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back, your choice. Welcome, Rose. So we'll add that dragon dog. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now bringing knee to nose, nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. This third one will hold before we step the foot front. Exhale it forward. Inhale and hold. And on your exhale, navel to spine as you bring that foot as far front as you can. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. On an exhale, nose to knee, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. This third one will hold. Exhale forward. Inhale and hold. And then navel to spine on the next exhale, getting that foot as far front as you can. Feel the engagement. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. As we hold down dog, I invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your breath flows in and as your breath flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling fold. On the inhale, finding your chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine as you stand tall. So let's do one more sun sal B. We'll throw a hip opener into the mix. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you grind on down. And making your way back to down dog as you will. Take your time. That can either make it harder or that can make it easier. If you take your time on that push-up, it becomes much harder. Inhaling. And exhaling, drawing it back. So adding the hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder anchored, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And wait for it. Looking between the hands, pitching that knee even higher. Feel the stretch in your glute. And then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding your breath back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. And second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, letting the weight of the bent leg open up that hip any amount. Now wait for it here. Looking between the hands, you're going to pitch that knee even higher, feeling the nice sensation in that glute. And then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down. Hands can always find the hips as you find your balance. And then arms out to the side, and then overhead, warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Deep full press. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger, grounding down through the base of each finger as we draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders. Shoulders engaged, long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump from. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, finding your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting that back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin. Coming back to a place of just watching as your breath flows in. And as your breath flows out. From here, let's bring hands on hips. If feet aren't hip width apart, we can get them there either with a step or maybe a jump. Let's bring hands onto our shoulders. Let's roll one shoulder front and then the other, asymmetrical shoulder rolls. Letting the back get involved as we warm up our shoulders, our upper back, our waist. Maybe letting those hips swing a little bit, keeping the knees soft. And then taking those asymmetrical shoulder rolls the other way. Shoulders, upper back, waist, hips, knees, whole body movement here. And then back to center, letting those shoulders relax, hands by our side. Let's do one more whole body exercise here as we work with our fire breath. Inhaling the arms up in front. On the exhale, bending the knees, casting the hands back, a short, sharp exhale out through the nose. 8 times. A couple more. Last one. And then back up, and either stepping or jumping your feet in. And again, if it's too tight, you could always work a little wider. I'll ask you to go sideways here, and we'll work Sun Cell C. Grabbing a drink of water, always feeling free to take care of yourself. That's what the yoga practice is all about. And maybe come a little bit forward. Yeah, front of frame. All right, start with a chair. Knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, finding a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you look up. On the exhale, folding again and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling to vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. So we're going to add some thigh bone rotations to that hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. Keeping right shoulder just as it is. Twisting from the ribs as you stack the hips, lifted leg straight. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now I'll invite you to circle the thigh bone in the hip socket for 3, and 2, and 1. Other way for 1, and 2, and 3. And wait for it, looking between the hands, pitching that knee even higher. And then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, warrior 1. In warrior 1, let's move right to a warrior 3. Hands find the hips as we spin the back heel up. Big step in. Starting to pour weight into the right leg as we balance on that foot. either working low or working less low. Letting arms hang down to the ground, shoulders super, super relaxed. Finding our dynamic balance, knee of the standing leg soft with those little micro adjustments as we rock the hands forward, we rock them back, maybe side to side. Being very loose, very liquid as we balance. Keep pressing through the ball, the big toe. And then eventually sweeping those hands front, keeping the arms nice and wide to keep those shoulders relaxed. And then lifting the face to look through those hands. Yeah, so maybe somewhere between T-shaped arms, so it's more of a Y shape like that, yeah. There you go, beautiful. From here, hands come back to the hips as we land that back foot lightly, adjusting your stance. The safest way to do that is to shift weight onto the front foot as we scoot the back foot back. From here, let's find a tray in front. Breathing in as we gather energy into our center of balance. On the exhale, circling the hands around as we offer it out. Let's do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're halfway done. Inhaling into our center of balance. Exhaling. 2 more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one here. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. The elbows move back. The hands come with. That's it. I'll invite you to ripple those fingers as you keep your hands supple. Now bringing hands on hips, we'll turn warrior 1 hips into warrior 2 hips. And as we steer the hips sideways, we can kick the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. Yeah, and I like the intentionality on that front, the front hand. So those fingers are active. Yeah, beautiful. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling, back to warrior 2. 2 more times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Halfway done, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, we'll hold that reverse warrior, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib. I'll invite you to spread those fingers wide, more intentionality in those hands, more space in those hands. Beautiful. And then turning the reverse warrior back into warrior 2. From here, finding a rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back. You might choose to use a strap or a towel. Shoulder blades back and down initially onto the ribs, open heart, open throat. And then taking a deep dive inside the front leg. Take your time. Once you're in the deep forward fold, relax neck, heavy head, lifting the hands any amount up and off the back. And then letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway, inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Plenty of room in the earth for that tension. We don't need it in our neck and our shoulders. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we bring it on up, lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our warrior 2. From here, transitioning to Trikonasana, the triangle. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. We can deepen that crease, we can lengthen those ribs. Either grounding bottom hand down, thumb in line with the shin bone as we wrap the calf, or adding a brick outside the calf. With our top hand, we can rotate those ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high to the sky. As we hold the shape, as much arm as shoulders. You want to open up that shoulder, maybe a little less arm. Nice. And we can choose either to look down, off to the side, or up to the sky. From here, moving towards a second balance challenge, the half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee for either a big step or a couple of steps in. Setting our base, right hand off to the right. Pouring weight into hand and foot as the back foot gets light. It's all good. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching straight, hand high. And again, you want to think as much shoulder as arm. Yeah, nice, beautiful. Keeping the knee of the standing leg soft as you find your dynamic balance. Feeling free to add supplemental movement, whatever feels right and good for you. Coming down easefully, top hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee as we land that back foot back, either a small or a long stance. Adjusting your stance as we come back to our warrior two, one long arm. And from warrior two, I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders. And from, finding your low lunge. And then from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. You want to play with some more donkey kicks?
Sure.
All right. Finding your short dog, walking the feet in. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. Now finding your donkey kick, letting that top leg do the work. Yeah. I'd say 3 each way. And then other way. And then grounding on down. Maybe you sneak into child's pose. Just giving yourself thanks for that effort. Those donkey kicks are not easy. Great way to generate heat very quickly. Welcome, Fred. When you're ready to move on, you'll find your down dog, and then I'll cue it from there. From down dog, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now circling the thigh bone in the hip socket for 3, 2, and 1. Taking it the other way for 1, 2, and 3. And wait for it, looking between the hands, pitching that knee even higher. And then sweeping that foot on through, spinning the back heel down, finding your warrior one. Arms out to the side. And then overhead. From here, let's move right towards that warrior 3 dynamic balance challenge as hands find the hips. We spin the back heel up, either one big step or a couple of steps in, pouring weight into that left leg as the back foot gets light. We could work low, we could work less low. I'll invite you to let your arms hang, keeping the knee of the standing leg soft as we find our dynamic balance, rocking those hands forward to back, side to side, being very loose, very liquid in the shape. And then eventually sweeping those hands in front in a nice big Y shape there, keeping those shoulders relaxed, not a T so much, more of a Y, yeah. And then lifting your face to look through those hands as if you're holding a large glass ball. Hands in front, find the hips as we take a big step back. Adjusting your stance, turning warrior 1 hips into warrior 2 hips as we steer the hips sideways. Maybe kicking the back foot in. Oops, we missed a sequence. Let's turn warrior 2 hips back into warrior 1 hips as we steer the hips forward and widen our stance. From here, finding a tray in front. Breathing in as we gather energy into our center of balance. Exhaling, offering it out 6 times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We got one more here. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding cactus arms. Elbows move back. The hands come with, rippling those fingers, enjoying the stretch. You might lift the chin just a little bit. Yeah, open heart, open throat. Now we'll bring hands back to hips, and we'll turn warrior 1 hips into warrior 2 hips as we steer the hips sideways. We can narrow our stance as we kick the back foot in, and then finding 1 long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze, and lots of intentionality in those hands. Strong, strong fingers. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. On the exhale, warrior 2, 6 times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're halfway done. Inhale and exhale. Last 2 here. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in and holding. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib, and mimicking those ribs with our fingers as we spread our fingers wide, more intelligence in our hands. Breathing into all that space, all that savvy. Just enjoying being alive. Turning our reverse warrior back into warrior two. Now finding your rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down onto ribs initially, open heart, open throat, and then keeping all that as you take that deep dive inside the front leg. Once you find that dive, relax neck, heavy head, lifting the hands any amount up and off the back, letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway, inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as you bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, back to our warrior two. Now thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs, grounding bottom hand down. We can line thumb up with shin bone as we wrap the calf. Or you might choose to bring a brick outside the calf. Once we have our foundation, we can use that top hand to good effect as we rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high to the sky. And again, you want to feel as much shoulder as arm, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky. As we hold the shape with every breath in, gathering energy in your navel center. With every breath out from that center, finding more space in the shape from the inside out, connecting with the pulsation of the breath. Now moving towards our second balance challenge, the half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We soften the front knee for a big step in, or maybe a couple of steps, maybe you drag the foot. Taking your time, there's no need to rush into a balance. Setting your foundation, left hand off to the left. Pouring weight into hand and foot as the back foot gets light. Again, we can use that top hand to good effect as we rotate our ribs. Opening up shoulders, stretching hand high. Yeah, awesome, beautiful. As much arm as shoulder here. Again, breathing into your center. And from that center, finding more space in the shape from the inside out. And choosing either to look down, very grounding, off to the horizon, or maybe up to the sky. Top hand finds the hip as we soften the front knee, finding either a short stance or a long stance, shifting weight into the feet as we come on up. Adjusting our stance as we come back to our warrior two. And from warrior two, back to down dog as you will. We can windmill those arms as we stretch out our shoulders for low lunge. And then from low lunge, back to down dog again. Take your time, find your flow. You don't always have to do the push-ups. Some people like to do extra push-ups. Some people will choose no push-ups at all. Both good choices. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, looking between the hands as we either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera as we bring hands to heart. This time adding an isometric engagement as we press our palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged. A tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of our center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown. Let's step or jump it in, and let's bend the knees, and we can cap the knees with the hands. Let's work our knees here as we circle those knees. Taking those knee circles the other way. Now coming back up, let's step or jump our feet hip width apart. Hands find the back of the hips, the fingers face down. We'll circle those hips. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Now finding a cross shoulder hug, hips stay stable as we circle our shoulders. Taking it the other way. Coming back center, switching across of the arms, first direction. Finding second direction. Back to center, arms in the air like you either do or don't care. Full body movement, hips go one way, shoulders go the other, keeping the knees soft. And then taking everything the other way. And then back to center. Hands by our side. One more fire breath session. Knees stay soft as we inhale, arms up to one side. On the exhale, passing hands through center. Other side. We'll do 8. Halfway done. A couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up and either stepping or jumping it in. Awesome. So I'm going to come onto camera. We'll have a short cross step session here. We're going to shift weight onto the right foot. I know Facebook and video switches things around. We're going to cross left over right. I'll get off camera now. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Feel free to raise the floor with a brick if the hands don't easily come down. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold and hold. And as we hold the cross-legged forward fold, I'll invite you to circle those hips, any amount. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Coming back center, knees stay soft. I'm going to invite you to bring hands on hips as we find our flat back. And then keeping flat back, leading with the back of the heart as we come on up. From this place, we'll uncross the legs. I'll come on camera again. Now we'll cross right over left. And I'll get off camera here. Arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Again, feel free to grab that brick if your hands don't easily come down. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as we fold and hold. Relax neck, heavy head. Shoulders slide down towards the floor. And then when you're ready, any amount, just circling those hips. Chasing away any stiffness, any congestion. Inviting more prana, more vitality into our hips. And then taking those circles the other way. Coming back center. Finding your flat back as we bring hands to hips. Leading with the back of the heart, keeping flat back, hinging at the hips as we rise on up. And then losing the wind of the legs. And I'll invite you to keep it loose as we give it a little swing, a little sway. And then one last time, I'll invite you to come to the front of your mat. So going sideways, Kathy. And let's just work a quick sun sal A here. Arms out to the side and then overhead, keeping tall spine. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands cap the knees. On the exhale, tractioning yourself deeper as hands catch the back of the shins and then grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Just keeping our heat up, keeping our blood flowing, our circulation going. From down dog, I'll invite you to find a child's pose as you land your knees lightly, sits bones back towards the heels, nestling your belly towards your thighs, walking the hands forward as you heavy the forehead through, keeping the elbows lifted. That's it. Feel the stretch in the shoulders, and then letting the elbows lower as you let everything relax. As we hold this child's pose, I'll invite you to gently rock your body side to side, stretching out your low back and hips, finding your belly breath. From this place, bringing everything center, keeping hips and heels just as they are as you walk your hands to one side. You're finding a side bend. As we hold the stretch, stretching far hip to far heel. One of my favorite side stretches. Now walking your hands through center and finding that side stretch on your second side. Stretching other hip to other heel. Now bringing hands center, let's walk the hands in as we come onto our backs. So you're going to walk the hands in and bring the feet off to one side. Getting onto your backs any number of ways. One of my favorites is a long, slow roll down. So finding the top of your mat, starting from your neutral spine, your flat back. Finding C-spine as you tuck tail and chin. And feel free to catch the back of the thighs or not as you slowly, slowly, slowly lower yourself down. As if you're laying a piece of tape onto a counter. Beautiful. Yeah, you're finding more space in that back as you lower it down, feeling that abdominal engagement. When we get down, full body stretch, arms overhead. Low back's going to lift. And then from here, let's press our back into the mat to support the action of the legs. We're not going to roll back up. We're just going to draw our knees in towards our heart. You want to keep the back of the head down, hands cap the knees, and just circling your sacrum. Yeah, so we're going to lift those feet, and just going to circle your sacrum, releasing and relaxing your back. Any amount. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, the knees are going to separate as we trace 2 circles out to the side. I'll invite you to exaggerate the undulations of the low back. As the knees draw in, the tailbone lifts, the low back grounds. As the knees draw out, the low back lifts, the tailbone grounds. Yeah. And then taking those circles the other way, again, just working that low back, breathing into that place. And now we're going to trace those same circles, but the knees go in different directions, egg beater knees. Notice how this asymmetrical action of the legs stabilizes the low back and hips. And then taking your egg beater knees the other way. And then back to center. From this place, I'll invite you to find your Shavasana as you lengthen through one leg and then the other. Take your time. Arms out to the side, spinning the palms up, scooting the head back as you flatten your shoulders. Tip of your tongue now neutral in your mouth. A slight part to your lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. Doing whatever else makes you feel comfortable. As we rest, relax, and release. Letting all the poses, all the shapes, all the sequences seep into the very marrow of our bones. And we won't be here too long. At home, certainly feeling free to hold your Shavasana for the purposes of this online class. I'm going to ring the yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching it flows in and out. God bless you. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. So we're varying that ratio between the inhale and the exhale. Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more prana, more vitality into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that prana, that vitality in towards center as you gently circle your wrists and your ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as we draw one knee in, the other knee follows. Hands catch the shins, they could also cap the knees. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to gently lift and lower the low back and hips, using your thighs to massage your low belly, your center of balance. Front to back, side to side, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. Keeping the neck relaxed, reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin or hands. Keeping the chin tucked as the hands come back to the knees or the shins. You might also catch the back of the thighs as we gently rock ourselves forward to back, back to front, massaging our spine. Keeping the chin tucked to keep the neck safe. Pretty much try to stay in C-spine as much as you can. And then a little momentum as we come on up to find a cross-legged sit. I'll ask you to face camera. As we sit grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle your shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark, for teaching. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
participating.
Everyone for watching and having fun with us. And I'm a dad, so I do dad jokes. Namaste sounds just like have a nice day, and we'll see you real soon.
Have a nice day. Namaste.